All right, so lesson 18, The Tale of Peter Rabbit, is going to be the next story that we're reading. Our pages were 1 through 13, and you all have received the digital copy of the book, which was really nice. So my pages might differ in here. So if you see that, that's okay. That's sometimes how things go when we have digital copies and a regular copy. This is a really fun story because the Peter Rabbit sometimes doesn't do exactly what he's supposed to do. He gets into a lot of mischief. Do you know what mischief means? He gets into a lot of trouble. He doesn't do what he's told sometimes. So he ends up in a lot of trouble or in some pretty scary situations. So that's what happens when Peter Rabbit gets involved in these stories. So here we go. We're going to look at all of our questions here. All right, so we're going to look at page 2 and we're going to name the rabbits. And also, we had a question in here that tell us something that you did when you were told not to do it. And looking back, how do you feel about it now? And then what did Peter do in Mr. McGregor's garden? And also what caused Peter to look for parsley? And they might have had a little problem there, I think, maybe. And then what happened to Peter after he lost his shoes? He did a lot of running away from this in this story, so we'll get started on that. All right, so in this particular part here, I'm just going to start reading this little part here on the page. So we are looking for the fact that all of the little rabbits that live together, and what are their names? So we have to name the name of the rabbits. Who would like to read first? Anyone? Oh, Paul's got his hand raised. Are you ready, Paul? All right, you may go ahead.
Once upon a time, there were 4 little rabbits, and their names were Floppy, Moppy, Tail, and Peter. They lived with their mother in a sand bank under the roots of a very big fir tree.
Yes, exactly. Good job, Paul. Excellent reading. Okay, so once upon a time, that's how we start a lot of our stories and a lot of our books. There were 4 little rabbits, right? And their names were Flopsy, Mopsy, Cottontail, and Little Peter. And they all lived with their mom in a sandbank underneath. This word is underneath in this one, Paul. Okay? Underneath, because our EA says E here. Underneath. We call this a pretty big word here, right? But it's underneath something. So if we have something on top, it would be underneath like that. Okay? That's what that word means. And live in a big fir tree. That looks like a pretty big fir tree there. They look pretty comfortable. So, okay, I want to know, Paul, what are the names of the 4 little rabbits?
It was Floppy, Moppy, Tail, and Peter.
Good job. Flopsy, Mopsy, Cottontail, and Peter. Well done. Okay, so can you tell whether these are little boy names or little girl names? We can't tell yet, right? Not in the beginning of this book. We know it's Peter, so it's probably a little boy. So it looks like maybe they're all peeking out of the bottom of this fir tree here. And Mama's always keeping watch on her little ones right here. You can tell she's probably very aware of what is going on around her. All right, Paul, great job. Thank you so much for reading. Always volunteering to read. I love that. All right, so we're going to move on to page 3 of your story. And I'm going to go ahead and let someone read, and then we will answer this question. What did Mrs. Rabbit warn her kids? Okay, so we're going to listen to what she says in this story, and then we can answer that question. Who would like to read next? Samuel? Okay. Looks like she almost looks like Little Red Riding Hood. Has anyone ever read that story before? Yeah. Looks like Little Red Riding Hood here. She's got almost the same little hooded and a basket. Very similar to that story. All right, who would like to read next? Are there any volunteers? So how about you, Catherine? Would you like to read on this page, please?
The old Mrs. Rabbit took a basket and her umbrella and went down the wood to the baker's. She bought a lot of brown bread and 5 currant buns.
Right, good job, good reading. Okay, so she took her umbrella and went through. This word is through right here. Through. Through, good job. And she went to the baker's. Oh, so she went to the baker's and she's probably going to pick up some bread and 5 currant buns. Sounds like she's going to go prepare for her meal, right? All right, so where did Mrs. Rabbit go and why did she go out? Do you know, Catherine?
She go out baker's.
Yeah, to the baker's.
Bakers.
So a baker is one who might make pastries or breads. Sometimes they can make a lot of different things, but normally a baker will have to be something that they put in the oven, and they usually make it with dough. There's a lot of different bakers out there in different styles. You may have those in where you live as well. So she went to get a loaf of bread. So she went out because she had to get a loaf of bread, right, Catherine? What do you think she's getting ready to do?
She bought a lot of brown bread and 5 currant buns.
Right. She can maybe making a meal so everybody can eat.
Yeah.
Yeah. She's going to go get prepared to make her meal. Good job. Thank you, Catherine. Well done. Okay. We're going to move on now to our next page 6 in your story that you have on yours. I'm going to show you this one too. This one I think is really cute. All right. So this one is where Peter may be getting into a little mischief. Or he might be getting into trouble a little, because I'm not sure he did, but he was told. All right. So let's go ahead and read. And then we will go ahead and answer the story question. Okay. All right. So who is our next reader? Rebecca, you may start when you are ready.
Flopsy, Mopsy, and Cocktail, who were good little bunnies, went down the lane to gather fast blackberry.
Good job.
But Peter, who was very naughty, ran straight away to
McGregor's
garden and squeezed under the late.
Excellent. Oh, excellent job. I love how you really stopped there and you really gathered your thoughts and went through that word and said, finally figured out that was blackberries. You can see them kind of here on the trees a little, these blackberries. Has anyone ever had blackberries before? Oh, they are delicious. They are delicious. I can see Esther shaking her head. Blackberries are really good. Sometimes they can get really big too. Sometimes they're tiny, little things, but other times they're really big and we can eat those nicely. Oh my goodness gracious. Okay. I haven't had a blackberry in a while. Maybe I will go buy some of those now. And over here, this word right here, Rebecca, is squeezed. Squeezed. So do you see him kind of squeezing underneath here? He doesn't really fit, does he? So he's really having to really make himself very small to try to squeeze through there. So that's the word squeezed. Okay, he had to really fit really tightly there and he squeezed right through there. All right, good job. Okay, so our question here was, tell us something that you did when you were told not to do it. And looking back, how do you feel about it now? Good job, Lucy. I love how you stop and really, really focus on your words. So we had the word all together, right? All together. There are 4 syllables in that word. Good job. You just have to break that word down and start with what you know. And then we had another big word, Lucy, unfortunately. Unfortunately. Wow. Unfortunately. 5 syllables in that word. So good job breaking that down. I really enjoy that, how you do that, and watch what you're doing there. So, and then, you always look at that and say, oh, that's a word I might not be able to figure out, but I can just break that down into the small syllables and we can put that together afterward. We start very slowly, unfortunately, and then put it together in a faster way. Good job on that, Lucy. It's a good job. All righty. Okay. Oh my goodness. We're all done with our lesson. We're going to start preparing for lesson 19. Oh gosh, that went fast. Okay, so we're going to be reading pages 14 through 27, which that means the end of our book now. We're going to continue with reading the rest of this tale of Peter Rabbit, which is a great story. Okay, I love this story because he gets in trouble every time because he doesn't do what he is told. It's a good learning lesson. All right, so we have some sparrows that are going to come talk to Peter. And he kind of tries to get out of that net, like Lucy said, take that jacket off. Maybe that's what he's going to do. And he goes into a tool shed, and I'm not sure what Mr. McGregor is going to do with him. All right, so I want to say thank you so much for being here today. And I do want to go back and show some of the homework that we've had. So we had another good reading video, which I was really enjoying, but I want to pull up some others and show you some other answers to that, where I love looking at your homework, everyone. Thank you so much for doing all your homework. I really appreciate that. Okay, so Lucy's homework here, I love how she has such beautiful printing here. This is really, really nice printing. So on pages 6 to 9, so did Peter go with his sisters when he was running away? And where did Peter go? Lucy said Peter didn't go with them, and he went to Mr. McGregor's garden himself. What I love about your answers, Lucy, all of the time with your homework is that everything is in complete sentences, right? We want to answer everything. We want to say exactly how Lucy did here. Peter didn't go with them. That was answered, that one right there, right? And he went to Mr. McGregor's garden himself. So she answered everything in very full and precise sentences there. So I really appreciate that when someone does that, because that's what we're looking for. It's better to answer with a full sentence than it is to answer, he went to the garden. That was it. That gives us not as much description as Lucy did here. So when we're answering our questions, I really appreciate that she takes the time to answer, Peter didn't go with them. He went to Mr. McGregor's garden himself. So we got both of our answers for our question in very, very full sentences. So I appreciate that, Lucy. Thank you so much. Okay, so it looks like you understood that that question that we had about why was he looking for parsley? I love that you said because he ate too much food. That is exactly what we're looking for here. Good job. All right. So, yeah, what was Mr. McGregor doing? He was using a shovel or a rake to chase after him, right? Good job. All right. That makes me very proud. So thank you so much. So everybody gets a high five and a clap today. Everyone should clap for all their classmates. Good job, everyone. All right. High five, everybody. Boom. Boom, good job. So thank you so much for reading, and thank you so much for doing so well in the class today. And I will see you again on Thursday. So I will say good night and sweet dreams tonight. Okay, I'll see you again on Thursday. All right, bye everyone. Bye, Samuel.